cannibals will still linger in our lands. They now know they face warriors who do not fear fate.
Like, instead of like 250,000 damage with all my abilities and stuff, you know, at the top end, I was doing like 80s and 200s, and I couldn't even like kill basic monsters out in the world. It was so bad. But the problem is, there's a companion glyph in here, the one that makes your passive portion of your companion skills do 80% increased damage. It's gonna help. Oh, well, not only were they werewolves, I had another item on that made them storm wolves, and you can have storm wolves or storm werewolves if you combine it with the other things. And they were really cool graphically. They had all the lightning eyes, and whenever you walked out of town, they turned all the lightning on, but whenever you were in town, they just looked kind of regular. And when you use the attack spell with the wolves, they use like a lightning blink. They become a ball of lightning, flash through the air, and then arrive at their target instantaneously. Or, you know, next to instantaneously. And it just looked really, really cool. But when they arrived, they did like 210 damage. And it was dreadful. So yeah, I did. I had like the poison creeper guy for poison, which also granted me some of that immobilize. But also I was werewolf shred as well, and trying to, you know, I'm spec'd all into the werewolf stuff. And I had the item on that makes it so that your pets get the passive abilities out of Bestial Rampage. So all my pets had 20% attack speed because I'd spend 2.5 seconds in shred, and then I'd spend 2.5 seconds in whatever the bear generator spell's called to get them the increased damage. And I was trying everything, and the damage was just so dreadful. I was trying to run away and kite in circles and hold them with the poison, and it was awful. And I know that was, well, sure, but you need to kill with something. But if I'm going to go companions and waste items and points and everything else on it, I'm going to go full companions, and I'm going to have a lot of them. And I think that was the problem. You can't just like have all 3 of the companions spells and expect them to deal damage. Like you said, they're probably not there to get kills, they're there to get procs. But when you're trying to fit this in, Bestial Rampage, which is the only keystone passive that you can get to work with the companions that I've found so far, everything else just does nothing with them. You have to fit in a werewolf skill, and you have to fit in a werebear skill, or the item that permanently makes you one of them. And then once you've got the pets in there, if you do take all 3, you've got room for one more spell. And I tried having the defensive on, the Blood Howl. I tried having Grizzly Rampage set up to make me a werewolf. And just none of it worked. Just I couldn't find a way to get things to work how I wanted. Yeah, that you know, that would have been something to try. The item that makes it so you can consume your poisons with bear form. That's fine, but then you still need to, you know, poison them up with shred or with the creeper, and then attack with something like maul. Yeah, you could try it, but the problem was also survivability in addition to damage and everything else. I just I don't know. It's going to take some real thought to try and get it done. And I know that, like, not every spec... Well, yeah, the wolves could poison, absolutely, but I don't think the wolf version of rabies, like because it's kind of scales with them, like the tiny little version of rabies that they do, doing 300% of that damage by using bear abilities, I don't know if that's going to be enough to make anything out of it. But out of all the specs I tried, the only one that I also liked was being Storm and Earth at the same time, and having the Nature's Fury and some of the other abilities around that. No, our skills don't translate to them, I don't think. They get 30% of our passive stats, and that's about it. Yeah. If only we could give them some of our damage. Just 30% of everything basic, so they've kind of got, you know, if you've got 30% additional attack speed yourselves, then 30% of that is like 3% additional attack speed from you, which isn't much. It's not gonna make too much of a difference, I don't think. Yeah, this was it actually. I used Storm and Earth with this keystone, and then I had an item on specifically that made it so lightning spells also work with this keystone. So you can get up to a 25% chance that any Earth or Storm spell would restore your entire spirit pool and cause your critical strikes to be guaranteed crits for 5 seconds. And that was great. That was the only one that I managed to get to work that was a lot of fun. Storm and Earth. Are the cannibals still a problem?
They remain persistent, but have grown to fear our banners. One day we will clear them from our lands. When that day comes, you must join us for celebrations. Our spears remember your blood as any kin.
Yeah, I think with the average top damage I could do with a wolf, when it did its high end of damage, and then adding 80% more onto it if I'd got that glyph working, we would have been looking at about 320 damage or so from a wolf's attack at best, with Storm added to them, with the poison added to them, with them being werewolves and everything else, and they still died almost instantaneously. Whenever they fight anything, they die. And you have to constantly wait for them to respawn over and over. So that, yeah, I had 3 guys maximum, but at any given time, there was between 0 and 1 on 10 hit points. And it was funny as all hell. Because it would just be me by myself in a companion spec. And then you can't cast even like the wolf spell while they're all dead.
Last night, my ancestors spoke to me. The Cranes fought well, they said. Our time has come at last to rejoin the tribes. I will not meet the Oxen tribe on my knees. Proper tribute must be made. Ariat steel from the mountain that fell. My ancestors say they lie with such steel, deep in their tomb to the east. If you would recover it, deliver it to the Oxen Forge Master. Tell her it is time we met.